Yes, finally! And I'm not only talking about the translation, I'm talking about finally someone said something very, very, very important to those two rookie heroes. Their own selfishness risked everything. In fact, everybody in the public had the face that said, okay, you're definitely gonna fail. And who is the one that makes them shut up? Well, none other than Deku. And that is so satisfying. Hi, for those who are watching, the Angry Anime Fan, the Despair Reviewer, bringing you, at long last, the Boku no Hero Chapter 111. It took its sweet time. But it turns out that the police officers talked about the exam, different on why they were beginning with the ball game, and also the second phase, where the thing they, because what they really were doing here was not just to find heroes that know how to help people, but most of all cooperation, and that is so sweet, because this is a theme in this manga that I actually like very much, that there's many heroes who despise cooperation. And from what we have seen of the young heroes, they are also very bad at cooperation. And the ones who value cooperations are the ones being scoffed at. And this time they say that they need to find cooperation until they can find the next All Might. Because according to the police officer, the gap between the second and the thirst, I mean the All Might and Endeavor, was pretty big, strangely enough, in both power and charm. All Might had power, that he had, but he also had a big amount of charm. He was just a guy who wanted to save people. So this exam is more like finding charisma. It's like finding. The reason why King Orca gang is here is because the young heroes, no young hero needs to take down this villain alone. In fact, it should be impossible. No, instead they're gonna cooperate. Even those who normally cannot cooperate have to cooperate. So this is something about making choices. And even though the old timers are the one who is saying minus point, there's a certain amount of members, 100 members of the Public Safety Commission, who is equipped with scoring manuals. Those who get 50 points will pass. If not, they will fail. And so the first one who makes the appearance is Shindo, who arrogantly think he can do something, but King Orca just stops it. I mean, Gang Orca just stops it. Turns out his quirk is, well, only killer whale. I thought it's actually pretty cool. You know, Tsui had her quirk was frog form. She can do anything like a frog can, and here it's actually said the same. Gang Orca, yeah, his quirk is killer whale. He can do killer whale like things even on shore. So what's that mean? Enormous amount of strength, or the fact that he could dispel Shindo's quaking with an intense sound wave attack? I guess he did that, and he paralyzed the opponent. So of course the one who enters first scene is Todoroki after. He is the one who's helping. But Tailman, Pinky and Tsukuyomi appears to assist. And during that time, the Gale hero, Inasa, also appears. Once again, he bothers me with his big loud nose. And as soon as he sees Todoroki, well, he loses focus. And even though they believe, even though the judges say that Inasa and Todoroki have high suppressive ability quirks, the fact that they cannot work together is very worrying. Because Todoroki is being distracted with Inasa just talking, comparing him to his father, because after all, Todoroki hates his father, and he just at first just tried to get over the trauma of what he had done to his life, but now it's coming back. So And it get even worse when Todoroki is saying that go help with the evacuation. Your quirk is suited for that. I will do that. And also seeing that Inasa's quirk Gale or whatever it's called affects fire, and Todoroki is forced to use fire because because the ice attack was defended. They too begins to argue, much to the shame of the other heroes. Even Gang Orca is giving an eye. So, so it turns out in the past, well, the reason why Inasa hates Endeavor, well, I don't exactly know if this is a good reason. I mean, it's clear Endeavor, I talked about in a previous video, how could someone like Endeavor actually become a hero? And for me, it almost seems likely that Endeavor is just a guy who just does his job. He doesn't care about anything else. Well, maybe he does care about fame, but he doesn't care about being liked. He doesn't want to be liked. Because Endeavor, I mean, Inasa always liked the heroes because they were the hottestness. But Endeavor turned down, well, not turned down, pushed Isana aside once when he wanted an autograph because he said, "Don't get in my way," with eyes filled with coldness and rage. So, yeah, so sometimes you ask yourself, how could someone like Endeavor even become a hero if he had those eyes? It's clear from his flashback when he talked about why he hated All Might so much, because, well, he wanted to be the best so much that he actually fell in that his personality became the worst. Don't get me wrong, I'm not feeling pity for that son of a bitch, but still. And when he was getting to UA, when he saw Todoroki and tried to talk to him, Todoroki just said the same thing, "You're in my way," with the exact same eyes as him. And about that time, Todoroki was very antisocial. So the reason why he simply hates Endeavor is because, well, he turned down his autograph? Or maybe because, unlike most heroes, Endeavor had cold eyes. And this is, of course, distracting Todoroki, seeing that he begins to compare that his flames are the same, are him. And this is actually frustrating the two, and not the heroes. And unfortunately, as the two young heroes combine with the wind and fire, it creates a powerful wind that nearly destroys Shindo. But the one who saves him is Deku, who in all his rage screams to the two one, "What the hell are you doing?" That line was so satisfying. What the hell are they doing? Those two idiots! Todoroki, I mean, I don't know exactly who is to blame here. It's clear that Todoroki uses flames even though he shouldn't, because Inasa made a point with the flames not being the most appropriate fighting someone with wind. But Todoroki also made a point that stop comparing me to father and just help me. But Inasa refused to acknowledge him as a hero. Therefore, and then the fact that he was being so petty with all that is just that he they messed up both, and it's pretty satisfying to see that all the examiners are actually feeling like we are here looking for cooperation. That is not cooperation. And that is one. And the one who is actually screaming that is the one who is going to become the next All Might. And that is Deku. So it's very satisfying for. It's also pretty. It's also predictable that Deku is the one who's going to scream that. But so, but also the fact that exam is meaning to be cooperation. I do wonder though, is it possible for people to pass if it's going to be cooperation? If UA do manage to cooperate, then things will be pretty good, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. But Deku is one who was entrusted with the all one for all from All Might, so maybe he can tell these two idiots to try to cooperate. Because there's one thing I think Deku could say. This is no time for pettiness, and you don't have time for thinking about your old wounds. Right now we have a villain and people to save. Think only of that. That is the what I well, maybe he won't say it like that, but something similar. So yeah, I still wonder though. Endeavor is not a great hero, but refusing. But what was it? The fact that Inasa hated most was it that he had that Todoroki and Endeavor has cold eyes that are not hot like heroes, or just because Endeavor refused his autograph? No, I think it was more the cold eyes. But I guess this also explains why he didn't do the UA program. He didn't want to be in the same class as Todoroki. So, at long last, the chapter was translated. What awaits now? Cooperation. Please, some cooperation. And not just the characters we have seen. A little bit more of the others. I want to see them action. They need to do something about this. And the young heroes need to realize that no one is a one-man show. But I don't think it's going to be that easy. So it wouldn't surprise me if Inasa and Todoroki are the only ones who won't pass, because they are hanging on to their old grudges. Or not, well, Inasa hanging on to old grudges, and Todoroki hanging on to the hatred of his father, which disbalances his mind. If that happens, one can only imagine. Give me your thoughts if you have any.